answer a question. If I could call on Dr. Tommie Morton Young, who grew up in Nashville and is here today, to give us some information and to answer a question from me. So if we could ask Dr. Tommie Morton Young to come forward.
Dr. Young, please come forward to the podium and make sure the mic's already on, but state your name for the record, please. You may continue.
I am Tommie Morton Young.
You may proceed.
Thank you for this opportunity to say a few words, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Public education and equal access...
Excuse me 1 second, just to stay with the format. Representative Pitson, you have a question for your guest.
I do. Dr. Young, how do you feel about this bill?
Well, to respond, I want to say that public education and equal access to effective schools for all the children of all the people is an American right that must be cherished, protected, and preserved. Whatever problems exist in public education, privatization and separatism will not solve the problem. Matter of fact, they will enlarge them. In my many years of work with federal government, local schools, school systems, I write in my book, Programs for At-Risk Youth and Their Families, that when a segment of the student population is denied full access to resources and programs that a school has to offer, they may become demoralized, reflect low achievement, and too often they become school dropouts and exhibit antisocial behavior. More specifically, there are 3 points I would like to share with you very briefly in response to your question. There are, in fact, over 10 reasons why school vouchers diminish the intent, the spirit, and effectiveness of public education. The first one is that we are in the southern region of the United States, and the southern region has a history of separate and unequal public schools and schooling. And as a result, the schools have not been as effective as they should have been and could have been. The second is that the nature of the voucher process forms duality in the planning and delivery of education services and opportunities. School vouchers, yes, charter schools, and schools of choice ultimately return schools in the region to separate and unequal. Separatism and privatization shortchange the majority of the student population. It intensifies stratification and breeds conflict. And third, with limited funding for public education, it is poor stewardship of the public treasury to siphon off monies allocated for all the children of all the people in order to accommodate certain segments of the school population and agencies and enterprises where the profit motive is the bottom line and focus on the few. Short-range vision driven by narrow personal interests and zealous entrepreneurs must not cloud the issues and muddle the view of the community to the negative affects and effects that privatization and separatism-oriented efforts will pose to the well-being of the majority of our children.
Dr. Morton Young, not to rush you through your presentation, but time is of the essence, and we're on the clock. So if you could summarize and close, and I apologize.
All right, I'll summarize it. I'm at the end anyway. Anyway, one cuts it, and whatever skillful rationales may be presented, in our hearts, we know that certain systems, policies, and practices as being discussed at this time and at this place, wherein taxpayers' monies collected to support public school education and to expend it elsewhere is unfair and unjust, and as Tom Peters notes, may likely be unconstitutional. We must avoid making a mockery of a long-standing, effective, and impressive institution, the public schools, that symbolize democracy at work. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Young. Appreciate that very much. Appreciate your time and coming before this committee. And let me just make